At 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday, animal control found a pit bull bleeding on the side of a road, 3 broken ribs, one eye swollen shut, temperature dropping fast. He'd been lying there for over 6 hours, and the man who left him there, he was the only person this dog had ever tried to love. Nobody found him in a loving home. Nobody found him in a warm yard with a family who cared. They found him at 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday, bleeding on the side of a road, 3 broken ribs, one eye swollen completely shut, and a body that looked like it had been through a war, because it had. For 4 years, this pit bull had been thrown into fights he never asked for, and the man who put him there, he didn't even look back when he walked away. His name wasn't given with love, it was given as a warning. From the time he was 8 weeks old, he knew nothing but concrete floors, chain-link fences, and the sound of men shouting. No toys, no soft voices, no one who looked at him like he mattered. His owner, if you can even call him that, saw one thing when he looked at this dog: money. By the time he was 1 year old, he had already been forced into his first fight. He didn't understand why. He didn't understand what he had done wrong. All he knew was that no matter how much pain he was in, no matter how exhausted his body was, it was never over until his owner said it was over. And his owner never said it was over. Night after night, month after month, the fights kept coming. Some lasted 4 minutes, some lasted 40. And every single time, he dragged himself back to that concrete floor, not because he wanted to, but because he had nowhere else to go. The cruelest part? After every fight, he still looked up at his owner, hoping, just hoping for something, a hand, a word, anything. He never got it. Stories like this one exist because people stay silent. If this is hitting you hard, you're not alone. Keep watching. By the time he was 4 years old, his body was a map of everything that had been done to him. Scars across his chest, a left ear permanently torn, and still, there was something in his eyes that hadn't been completely destroyed. That something was about to be the only thing that saved him. It happened on a night in late November. The temperature had dropped to 28 degrees Fahrenheit. The fight had gone wrong, badly wrong. He had taken damage that even his owner couldn't ignore. Deep lacerations across his left shoulder, a leg that buckled every time he tried to stand, blood that wouldn't stop. At 11:52 p.m., his owner made a decision. Not to get him help, not to call a vet. He opened the car door, pushed him out onto the curb, and drove away. Just like that. 4 years of loyalty, 4 years of enduring unimaginable pain for this man, and at 11:52 p.m. on a November night, it ended with a car door and the sound of an engine disappearing into the dark. He lay there on that cold pavement for hours, unable to move, too weak to make a sound. The temperature kept dropping. At 6:47 a.m., a city animal control officer named Marcus was doing his early morning route when he saw something on the side of the road that made him stop the truck immediately. I see you still haven't subscribed. Honestly, that breaks my heart, just like this story does. Hit subscribe right now. You won't regret it. Marcus later said, "I've been doing this job for 11 years. What I saw that morning was one of the worst cases I had ever come across. 3 broken ribs, a severely infected shoulder wound, dangerously low temperature. The vet estimated he had been lying on that pavement for at least 6 to 7 hours. 6 to 7 hours, alone in the freezing cold, after 4 years of being used and thrown away. He was rushed to the emergency animal clinic at 7:15 a.m. The team worked on him for over 2 hours. At one point, they weren't sure he was going to make it, but he did. When he arrived at the shelter 4 days later, the staff named him Rex, not because he was fierce, not because he was intimidating, because despite everything, The scars, the broken bones, the years of abuse, he still held his head up. Barely, but he held it up. The first week, he didn't eat much. He flinched at loud noises. He pressed himself into the back corner of his kennel whenever someone walked past too fast. But here is what shocked every single person on that shelter staff. He never growled, not once. A dog that had spent 4 years being forced to fight. A dog that had every reason in the world to hate every human being he ever encountered. And he never growled. Not at the staff, not at the volunteers, not even at the vet who had to clean his wounds every morning at 8 a.m., a process that was, by all accounts, extremely painful. He would just look up and wait, like he was still hoping. After everything, he was still hoping someone would finally choose him. Some stories are too important to keep to yourself. If Rex's story is getting to you, it should be. Share this with someone who needs to hear it today. 31 days passed. Volunteers came and went, families walked through, people stopped at other kennels, pointed at other dogs, filled out papers for other animals. Rex watched all of it from the back of his kennel, every single day at 9 a.m. when the shelter opened, every single day at 5 p.m. when it closed. 31 days. On day 32, a woman named Dana walked in. She wasn't looking for a pit bull. She wasn't looking for a large dog. She had come in to drop off donated food supplies and was on her way back out at 4:47 p.m. when she walked past Rex's kennel. She stopped. Rex looked up. And for the first time in 4 years, maybe longer, someone looked back at him like he was worth something. Dana sat down on the floor of that kennel for 40 minutes. She didn't try to pet him right away. She didn't rush him. She just sat there. And slowly, very slowly, Rex moved out of the back corner and rested his head on her knee. The shelter worker watching from the doorway said she had never seen him do that, not once in 32 days. Dana adopted Rex that evening. She signed the papers at 5:58 p.m., 17 minutes before the shelter closed. Rex is now 18 months out from that November night on the cold pavement. He sleeps on a real bed. He has a name that someone says with kindness. He has never been in a fight again. He still flinches sometimes at loud noises. He still presses himself against Dana's leg when something scares him. But every morning, without fail, he is the first one at the door, tail moving, eyes bright. Still hoping, still trusting. After everything, he never stopped. Because that's what they do, even when we give them every reason not to. Did Rex survive because of instinct or because something in him refused to give up on people? Tell me in the comments.